#1 call team for Geelong and the Surf Coast. Live for our #1 ticket holder, Warren Lilly.
Warren Lilly Central. Land now selling.
Ball spilled. Johannesson, he's on his non-preferred left. Just pulls it back to the hot spot. Bontempelli couldn't mark, but he found it on the ground. Flicked out. Dixon ran into an open goal. Oh, what skill from Marcus Bontempelli. Yeah, just the athleticism of the #4 for the Bulldogs contributing to that goal for Tory Dixon, 1 of 2 for the veteran forward, and it's the Dogs by 5 points at quarter time. Before we get to Lee Brown for Goddings or Kubota Platinum Excavator dealer, Heath Buck, Fags Mitre 10, and also Total Tools. Anything for us?
Yeah, no injury concerns at the moment, although Zach Merritt copped a nasty knee in the head from Easton Wood when he took that, or went to go for that big mark. He went off the ground for a period of time, should be okay to come back on though. Look, for Fags Mitre 10, the Dogs have had 13 more possessions. Excellent disposal efficiency. Kingy running at 83%, the Bombers 75%. They've taken 15 more marks, had 1 more clearance, the Doggies, 1 more contested possession, and 3 more inside 50s, 9 scoring shots apiece. So it's pretty even when the ball goes inside forward 50. Major ball winners, Dale's had 10 touches, McRae, Dalhouse 8 apiece, Hunter's 7. Webb been effective up forward for the Doggies, 2 goals from 4 possessions. And for the Bombers, Parrish and Zaharakis has had 10 touches, throw in a goal for both of those boys as well. Heppel 9 touches. Stewart been busy across half forward, 7 disposals and 5 marks. And Danaher 5 possessions, 3 marks and a couple of goals for Fags Mitre 10.
Fantastic. Good work by you, Bucky. For Goddings, Lee Brown. It was Essendon early, opened up a 19-point advantage by the 7-minute mark. Parrish, Zaharakis and Danaher with goals, but once they got it back on an even footing, the Dogs, they've probably dominated the last 20 minutes of play.
Yeah, they have, and Essendon started exceptionally well, and the Bulldogs look a little bit unorganised down the back end, and towards the latter half of that first quarter, the Bulldogs started to get organised, and they started to win more contests inside their defensive 50 and started to launch the ball from there. So Benny mentioned in that first quarter, who does a shootout suit? I think it suits the Western Bulldogs. I think they gain a lot of confidence and momentum from that, and it just allows them to freewheel and play their natural game. And if it continues this way, we're in for a cracking game. It's been a great first quarter, high speed stuff, and Western Bulldogs are looking very good. Stewart's the one who's looking quite dangerous, along with Danaher up in the front half for Essendon. It's that third tall that stretches the Western Bulldogs defence. So if Essendon can win enough ball through the middle of the ground and get it in quick enough, that's how they're going to get their way back in front in this game.
Just a quick question, Bucky, just the stoppage numbers, because it didn't seem to be a lot. The ball barely went out of bounds, if at all.
Yeah, look, there was only the 13 clearances, 7 to the Western Bulldogs, 6 to the Bombers. Centre bounces were in favour of the Western Bulldogs, or actually in favour of the Bombers, 6-4, but you are correct, Kingy, around the ground. There weren't a lot of ball-ups, just the 3 ball-ups around the ground, throw-in. So, yeah, correct weight there.
Second quarter about to get underway. Thanks to Subway, it's the way footy should be played. And, of course, a delicious, healthy meal never too far away with Subway. Here's Ben Casamilia.
So, Roughhead against Bell Chambers. Roughhead down. Daniel slapped it only as far as Fantasia. His hand pass was too hot for Merritt. To Johannesson. Gives to Roughhead. So the Ruckman. Forward 50 entry, long ball, but Hurley up. Oh, should have marked it, didn't. He's got Bontempelli. Kelly tackles Bontempelli. Hurley screams for holding the ball. Umpire says no. He will throw it up. Inside forward 50 for the Dogs. Sandy Wombat Gully matchup changes. Brownie sing out.
Just Cordy's gone to Danaher to start this second quarter, and that means that Lewis Young has gone to Carl Hooker.
So ground level, Kelly for the Bombers onto a loose ball. Hand pass was good to the voice of Merritt to Hurley. Gives to Goddard deep in the back pocket. Goddard goes out the back. Good kick by Laverde. Out the back, it might have been Hartley, in fact, to McKenna, the Irishman, who's really come of age in the last month, and he'll look to switch wide.
He will look to switch wide, and out there taking the mark is Watson. Watson will bring it towards the interchange gates. McDonald, Tippenwoody just steps inside the man coming towards him. Webb, and then kicks towards Hooker in his milestone game. Sweeps a handball onto Bell Chambers. Had to reel it in after a fumble. Got it on the bounce to Collier. Collier with the footy. Low ball inside 50. Not a great kick, but Danaher on the bounce. Then swings onto his left. Wonderful from Cordy. Cordy, diving across the boot to effect a smother. Ball spilled for Young. Biggs trying to keep it alive near the boundary line. Hands and knees. Back up to Young. Young, just a little bit of composure here needed. Good smother, McDonald, Tip and Woody. Stewart is now with a chance. He's got a handball away that's stolen by Biggs. Biggs snaps the kick out of defensive 50 in front position. It's knocked away from Webb, but he found the footy in front. Daniel got numbers there. The Dogs, Liberatore, one of those. Kick into the middle of the ground for Wallace to open things up.
There was a beauty. Wallace, middle of Etihad Stadium. Right decision now. Goes with a long ball. Wants Clogue. Out the back, Clogue. Just worked Hurley under the footy at the opportune moment. And found the Sharon on the chest. 30 out. Not much of an angle. He's on the right side for a left footer. And that kick from half-back Brownie was an absolute cracker.
Yeah, back into the corridor. We mentioned how much these teams like to use the centre of the ground, but that one just opened up the play, and it was a fantastic kick to advantage from Mitch Wallace into Travis Cloak.
So Cloak back into the side after missing some time while he dealt with a mental health issue. Misses off to the left-hand side, just a minor score. But good build-up from the Dogs, 5-5-35. They lead by 6 points. Essendon 4-5-29. Subway, K-Rock second quarter.
Goddard short into the right back pocket to Bagley. Bagley wants to send it city side for Watson. He waited for the footy and Hunter attacked it, affected the spoil, but Watson picked up the crumbs. Handball back to Goddard. Goddard, a little chip kick out the side door to Parrish, who's marked near the boundary line, city side of the ground, who concedes some ground inside defensive 50 with a 15-metre kick. It is with Hartley. Both shoulders strapped, Michael Hartley. Of course, time on Collingwood's list before heading to Coburg, where he was drafted from. Now Bagley, they traverse the inside of defensive 50. Hurley gets it back from Merritt. Now Hurley will bang a kick long. Looking down there for Hooker. Cordy back with the flight. Big defensive fist across the front of the pack. They've got numbers. Looking for somewhere to go is Wood. Handball back to Hunter. Biggs is now 25 from his defensive goal. Got to be careful because McDonald, Tip and Woody is bearing down. He put a little bit of pressure on the kick. Danaher, they couldn't affect the spoil. Picked up by Williams after he couldn't take the mark, and he drives a beautiful kick onto the chest of McRae.
He did. McRae on the wing. Wheels and goes. Good ball. Wide to Bottom Pally. Bottom Pally now with a piercing ball inside 50. It'll get to Picken on the bounce. Has to break a tackle. Hand passes to Dalhouse. He dances around Kelly on the left. Top of the square. Getting back Hurley. Out the back did well. Hurley front position. Picken coming the other way. Over the top. Diving in Gleeson. So too Cloak. And they did okay there. Essendon doing well through the agency there of Hurley. Forces a stoppage. 15 out from the Dogs' goal. They lead by 1. Early going second term.
They do. From the ball up, Watson's there for the Bombers, looking for somewhere to release to. He does back to Hurley. Hurley's on his non-preferred left, putting it towards Danaher. Got a little lunge from Young, but kept it alive on the boundary line despite not taking the mark. Parrish just bangs it on the boot. Biggs, diving mark, Hamlin Hanger contender. That was tough in flight to judge. Got down low, the former Swan, and took the mark off his bootlaces. Called to play on. A high kick inside forward 50. Johannesson front position. Not a noted high mark specialist inside forward 50, Jason Johannesson, but in front of Connor McKenna, used his backside well to stop him getting any fist on the footy and can go back and have a shot, the South African.
That's another matchup that's continued into this second quarter. The Irishman's actually spending a fair bit of time on Johannesson, so a nice aerial mark. Needs to go back and finish with a goal here.
He's kicked one already. It hasn't been a big year in goal scoring terms, just the 6 goals from his 17 games, but a chance for 2 here as he drives a beautiful long ball all the way to the line. It'll have the carry and it'll be a goal for the Dogs, and they now lead by 12 points. Jason Johannesson with a couple of beautiful long goals, and the Dogs have now kicked 5 in a row to turn a 19-point deficit into a 12-point advantage, a 31-point turnaround, and here's Heath Buck for Fags Mitre 10.
Yeah, the youngster Dale's been very good so far. 10 touches, big 10 touches. You mentioned Johannesson playing forward, 6 disposals, Brownie, and 2 goals straight. You'd be a little bit concerned if you're the Bombers. I know it's only 12 points, Brownie, but the Doggies just seem to be on the ground at the moment. Yeah,
they're running on top of it, Bucky, aren't they? They're playing with some good speed, and they're being able to come back through that corridor nearly at will.
So back in the middle, Dons need to find a response here. Hard to believe they jumped out of the blocks and now they're on the back foot. Out of the middle, they'll go forward. Heppel gives to Zaharakis. The old inside out barrel to half forward wasn't great. Cordy did well, took the footy, hand pass to Biggs. Biggs round the corner to the wing. Coming up to meet it was Bailey Williams lost complete control there. Toby McLean, Zaharakis, hand passes to Collier. I had no idea that was going to say Kane Tenase then for a second. Goes wide to Hurley. Had a complete mental breakdown. I need to take some time away from the game. Hurley's got it on the half-back line. Goes to half-forward, and that's a good kick to Fantasia.
It is. I'll try and restore some semblance of sanity to the call. Fantasia.
Hope it's not contagious.
Looking for Merritt, who's got the footy. 70 from home near the boundary line. Zach Merritt, left half forward.
50.
And it's going to be 50.
Well, I think for
Liberatore giving up the 50.
I think for Wombat Gully, that's the matchup of Liberatore, Brownie on Zach Merritt. Zach Merritt hasn't done a lot so far, just the one kick. And I mentioned Liberatore in the first quarter, just 2 disposals, but he's definitely got that run with roll.
Third in the AFL for disposals, Zach Merritt. 31.5 per game he's averaging. I think Mitchell and Dangerfield are the only 2 that average more, which is a fairly decent company to be in. That's Tom Mitchell, and Merritt is missing to the near side, so a let off there for the Dogs.
Seemed to rush it, Kingy. Sorry, Kingy. He just seemed to rush it at the end, didn't he? He had all that time, and then he just rushed the last component of that run up, and it's a disappointing finish from a highly skilled player.
So Suckling. Long kick outside 50, wants Woods. Ball from Hartley was good. Taken by Goddard. Low ball's okay to Heppel. Heppel from 48. Flying shot at goal is across the face. Just a minor score, so a couple of opportunities go begging for the Bombers. 4-7. 31, margin 10, the Dogs 6-5-41.
Suckling wants to go straight down the middle of Etihad Stadium looking for McLean. The fist came from Kelly. Wallace at the front of the pack, wrapped up by Parrish. Ball spilled out to Hooker. Heppel, Merritt now to make Benz. Somehow off the boot of Danaher, he's going to kick a goal right on the goal line. Biggs came across in front of him. It was like Danaher stopped the footy with his foot, and he was able to pick it up and on the goal line kick his third. Margin back to 4. They made something out of nothing on that one. The Dogs 6-5-41. Essendon 5-7-37. And Danaher now for the season has got goal number 50. Great result for him in a wonderful year. And, well, just somehow the ball stopped as Biggs tried to do, I suppose, the shovel across the line, Brownie, by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's fantastic skill from Big Danaher just to throw it on the boot there. I think Biggs was the one that actually stopped it in its tracks, but sometimes your greatest strength can be your greatest weapon, and Suckling going up the middle of the ground trying to bite off too much and turns the ball over.
It was back in the middle. Bonampelli down to Wallace. Wallace took it and kicks it inside 50. Kick okay. Cloak couldn't mark. Coming through his Bagley. Ball spills back to Cloak. He'll want to go on his right. GMHBA goal of the day, Travis Cloak. Non-preferred right in traffic, bang. His teammates get to him. Something out of nothing from the former Magpie. And the Dogs get the quick response. Margin back out to 10. 7-5-47. Essendon 5-7-37. Subway K-Rock second quarter. Talk us through that, Lee Brown.
Oh, fantastic. Normally his right foot's just there to hold him up, but he's thrown the ball on there. He's actually been working quite hard. He's created a lot of contests inside that forward 50, and this is probably his reward. And the footy gods, whatever you want to call it, fantastic finish. Just thrown it on the right boot. I don't think he even looked at the goals, Benny, but it's probably the straightest kick he's hit all year.
You're allowed to have a crack at his right foot because you played with him, Brownie. We'll leave that to you for Goddings. Bounce in the middle, tap down Bell Chambers, but the roving done by the Dogs. McRae, Wallace, here's McLean on the burst from 52 for back-to-back goals in about 8 seconds. He's missed to the right. And the margin is 11. But, gee, right now, the Dogs out of the middle. What are those numbers like? Lucky for Fags might have 10.
Look, they're pretty even out of the middle, Kingy, but this quarter it's in favour of the Dogs 4-2.
They get a couple of clearances. That was as clear as you like there. Hurley in the back pocket. Good kick just outside defensive 50. Onto the chest of Hartley. Hartley wants to go back in ball. That's a good kick too to Laverde. Handballs to Heppel sweeping by. Good transference. Heppel to half forward. He's got Hooker. Hooker can mark. He can go. It's Bell Chambers. Long ball. Danaher best position. Getting back front on contact against Suckling. I thought he might have disguised it well enough to get away with it. But umpire Sean Ryan, a veteran umpire, adjudicated front on contact against Suckling. And Danaher will go back from basically point-blank range and should kick his fourth.
He didn't have a case to answer there, did he, Brownie? Really?
Definitely front on contact.
I don't know, boys. I reckon he's come from the side. It's a tough call on Suckling.
So Danaher comes in and he's kicked it So, regardless of the decision, there's no column for Howe. And it goes in the book as a goal, the 4th, to Joe Danaher. He is shaping as the match winner for the Bombers, and the margin back to 5. 6-7-43 Essendon, 7-6-48 the Dogs.
Yeah, a couple of players just keeping the Bombers in it at the moment, really, because the Bulldogs have got really good players running through the midfield, really even spread of ball winners. But Dyson Heppel's the one, the skipper of the Bombers. He's had 13 touches and a couple of inside 50s, laid 3 tackles. And obviously, Benny mentioned Big Joey Danaher there now. 4 goals to Joe Danaher, 2 in the first, 2 in the second.
Takes him to equal leader of the Coleman. With
Benny
51
Brown.
goals on the season alongside
Franklin and Brown.
and Big Ben Brown.
We've got a 3-way tie. It'll be interesting to see what Josh Kennedy does this afternoon to the Brisbane Lions if he gets hold of them too. He currently sits on 43 goals, Josh Kennedy. No, he did miss some footy as well. Tom Hawkins on 43 after his 6 goals last night. We've got another ball up. It's just near the edge of the centre square, slightly favouring the Bombers, who are just a bit of momentum at the moment. It's picked up, though, by Murphy. Gave it to Suckling, back to Murphy. A true centre-half back. He's got the footy. Sends it out wide, and on the mark, on the chest, the mark is taken by Lockie Hunter. Just back of the wing, city side of the ground. 12.5 minutes gone in this second term for Subway, and it's the Dogs by 5 in the E.J. Whitten Cup clash. He goes short, and the mark taken by Wallace. We'll bring the presentation of that cup downstairs. Ted Whitten Jr. will make the presentation to the winning team down in the victorious rooms as Hunter goes back to Cordy, and then Cordy short, and it's taken now by Bailey Williams. Williams brings it now to the interchange gates broadcast side of the ground, and Shane Biggs has got it just back of the wing, looks to get a Shepherd on the mark as he steps around McDonald, Tippett and Woody, but his kick, well, it'll just get to its intended target in Murphy, who's dragged down by Laverde as he kicked. It somehow got its way to McLean. McLean banged it inside 450. Dullhouse, the unlikely flyer, couldn't hang on to it. Front of the pack, Hurley will pick up the footy. Play on advantage is paid. He has a bounce. Now he runs himself into trouble. Through hands the footy goes. It's now with Heppel after he got it from Bagley. Heppel, his little kick though intended for Gleeson, cut off by Wallace, and Wallace will concede some ground, and back with the fight goes Suckling. This is in his range.
It is.
And Dog fans, you can just hear him just lift a little, Benny.
He's going to have a set shot, Kingy. Certainly got the distance in him.
There's no chance of a pass from Matty Suckling from here.
Watch the arc here.
Yeah, he
will go on the boundary line.
Do you know what? Yeah, he's about 15 metres in from the boundary. When he kicks it, he'll probably be with about 3.
He'll be on Wurundjeri Way.
Matty Suckling.
Is that what he said?
Wurundjeri Way.
Yeah, that's it. out there somewhere.
7 goals for the season.
There he
65
goes.
for his career. He swings out, opens it up, sends it long for the GMHBA goal of the afternoon. Well, it probably won't be Travis Cloak, but geez, it was a nice finish. It's such a weapon. Lee Brown did say earlier, sometimes a weapon can be a weakness, but when it comes to Matt Suckling and he gets it right on that left boot, it is a massive, massive advantage to a football club, and your margin is back out to 11. The Dogs 8-6-54, the Bombers 6-7-43, 14.5 minutes gone second quarter, thanks to Subway.
I haven't been afraid to go backwards from within there inside 50. The Western Bulldogs there. They're going back to Suckling, who, like you said, King, he's a fantastic kick when he gets it right. Sometimes he can bite off a bit more than he can chew, but more often than not, we see a teammate to advantage or hitting the scoreboard in that case.
Yeah, former Hawk premiership player out of the middle again. Another clear clearance for the Dogs. McRae got it to Dalhouse. High up and under to half forward. Picking over the top. Bagley affected the spoil. Ground level. McKenna mops up the crumb. Goes on the right. Little awkward to McGrath. Did okay. It was called play on. Tries to hand pass over the top. Zarakas dispossessed. Watson. Hand pass wasn't great. Bagley went off the ground. That was smothered. In goes Daniel. Zarakas the other way. And over the top of him is Toby McLean, the man's name who I completely forgot before. And we'll have a throw up right in the middle of Etihad Stadium.
Out of the guts, Benny. Now it's 5-1 this quarter in favour of the Western Bulldogs. Just dominating it there, and there's another one.
Daniel bangs it inside forward 50 for the Bulldogs. Looking down there for a marking option, won't get to Dixon. Front of the pack, Johannesson hit it hard, released by hand to Bontempelli with the snap. Will he have enough bend on it? No. It went over the top of the left-hand goal post and through from behind to make the margin 12. And right now, the momentum shifted slightly again. This time it's with the Bulldogs, 8-7-55. Essendon, 6-7-43, 16 minutes gone in this second term for Subway.
McKenna plays on quickly to McGrath, who goes wide to the pocket. He's got Hurley, who dinks one outside. Defensive 50 to Collier. Now Collier's kick's okay. No, it wasn't. It was the intended recipient was Myers, but chopping it off was Bontempelli. Give to Young, left footer, inboards, great. Wonderful kick by the kid onto the chest of Dixon. He's already got a couple in the first term, a chance to kick his third. And again, Brownie, another turnover from the Bombers coming out of their back half.
Yeah, just a great work rate from Bontempelli to get back and cut that ball off. But how about the kick from Lewis Young?
Yeah, it was a cracker. Just playing his third game is Lewis Young. Donned in the long sleeves. 18-year-old from Sturt. But the man having a shot from goal is a 29-year-old from Noble Park, Tory Dixon. Oh, my God, I was about to say he's one of the best set-shot exponents in the game, and he's barely scored a point. It just scrapes through. It was skew from the outset. And just a minor score. Bomber fans breathe a sigh of relief. Margin 13, Subway.
Hurley short into the right back pocket, and it's marked by Bagley, who sends a long ball. Looking out here for Heppel, the fist from behind from Suckling. Just on Bontempelli, can you confirm 3 behinds for him this afternoon, Bucky?
Bontempelli has had, yes, correct weights, 9 disposals as well. Kingy, 4 marks. He hasn't had a lot on the ball, but he's been very, very effective.
He should have snaffled that last one.
Boundary throw-in. Front position was Roughhead. He might have just got nudged under the footy by Bell Chambers. Either way, the footy's going to come back towards Roughhead. This all happening on the outer side logo. Merritt tried to get it up to Laverde. Quick kick forward. It's a bouncing ball that's going to elude Wood. He somehow got back on the footy and reefed it out of the contest. Myers is in there watching, trying to get a handball up, but it was stolen by Suckling. Bit of the fumbles from Murphy. Time to recover. Give it back to Lewis Young. Young goes from 150-metre numeral to the other, basically looking for Biggs, and then Biggs sends it wide. That's a good, strong mark. It's going to be paid. Or a free kick? No. He's coming out as Lucas Webb. Did everything but take it, and we'll get a boundary thrown right at the interchange gates, which show 9:32, 47 and 6, and 42, 7, 3 and 13 on the bench currently for the Bombers and the Bulldogs.
Great spoil there by Hurley. If he's not All-Australian this year, I'll go he. Down Zaharakis, he's kicked down as far as Murphy. He toe-poked along the ground. Merritt was wrapped up in a big tackle by Bailey Dale. No prior opportunity. And the umpire will throw it up just forward of the wing for the Dogs. They lead by 13, nearly into time on in this second term thanks to Subway Eat Fresh. And the reigning premier looking to re-establish themselves back in the top 8. Bontempelli down. They're thrashing him in the clearances this quarter. Out the back to Biggs, all by hand. Gives it to Bailey Williams. He goes to Roughhead. Back to Biggs. So they're backtracking, but they've got possession, and Suckling marks inside the centre square. Just forward to centre half back. In fact, now he goes back to where the ball was delivered to him. Back to Williams, who chips it over the top to Daniel, now on broadcast wing. Packed Etihad Stadium crowd. Being treated to a bit of a goal fest. 8 goals to 6. Still plenty of time remaining in this second term. Now they're just waxing as comes back to Suckling, who marked the ball back in that original position about 25 seconds ago.
Yeah, it's back true centre half back. He'll come into the middle of Etihad Stadium with a low ball. Mark dropped. Time to recover though for Bailey Williams. Turns and kicks towards half forward. Liberatore stretching his mark onto his left boot. He wants to swing. Johannesson cruising by. He ignored him. He sent it longer and stretching and getting back and marking. It's a good strong mark by Roughhead. Gone forward for the moment, and he takes a good grab and can go back and have a shot. Once again, patient in their build-up. Brownie won't be rushed. They'll control the footy, and then when the chance to go presents itself, usually precise with their skills.
Yeah, they were very patient, and Essendon did a pretty good job there. I just thought Zach Merritt actually let him down. He didn't go for the spoil, and then he didn't man the mark hard enough either. So 2 efforts that just not up to standard, and they would have turned the ball over after a really good defensive effort from the Bombers.
Roughhead with a shot on goal, and another missed opportunity. He's barely snuck that in for a behind from a similar position to Tory Dixon only a few minutes ago. Margin is 14, 8-9-57 the Dogs, 6-7-43 the Bombers. 20 minutes gone, second quarter for Subway.
Thanks, Mighty Tempe. Keeping a close eye on Zach Merritt. Just the 7 disposals. Just doesn't look on his game. He's got Liberatore as an opponent who's kept him very quiet.
So they've worked it outside defensive 50. Zaharakis goes over the top to Danaher. He'll lope to the wing and want to get onto the left. Well, he went for a barrel on the run. It didn't come off. Over the back, Tippin Woody through Biggs' hands. Tippin Woody, who's been quiet, crashes into Hunter, and that's going to be a free kick going to Lockie Hunter. Did he take his feet? Not sure what that was for. Looked a good one-on-one contest for mine.
Gee, could have been Dale. Nearly hurt his knee there, Lockie Hunter. Total tools. He looks okay now as he takes his kick.
So he goes laterally back inside, defensive 50 to the great train robber in Biggs. And Ronnie Biggs goes to Young. You just have to wonder with that effort from Merritt whether he's not injured, because it was so far away from the standard required that you'd have to think there must be some problem.
Kick from Young towards half-back. Dullhouse got the crumbs and gave a handle up to McRae. Spins himself through the spin cycle a couple of times, and he was wrapped up by Big Stewart, who won the free kick for holding the footy. Man on the mark, McRae stands about 52 from goal.
Ended up on rinse.
He did.
Leading tackle player on the ground, James Stewart. 5 tackles he's laid.
Former Giant. Tight angle. Right forward pocket. City side of the ground. Sends a long ball. They'll contest at the top of the square. It's set up for a mark for Laverde. Couldn't across the front of the pack take it. Hunter picks up the crumbs and just bangs it on his left boot, but in doing so, put it on the chest of Zaharakis. Zaharakis will back it, send it back from whence it came. But it went across the face and has been marked between the goal and behind post. The right-hand ones by Big Roughhead getting back down there and doing some good work.
So Roughhead probably hasn't got much on. He'll probably just have to go down the line to the wing, and he does. Half-back. Getting up in front, marking it was Stewart though. And Stewart probably just too far out to score. He's 55 from home. He'll put it back to the top of the square. Only one man down there. It's Bellchambers. Got 3 to beat. Young. McDonald, Tippin Woody. Front and square crumb. Poor defending by the Dogs. They had about 6 players around that ball. There were 3 bombers. Somehow Tippin Woody found some space and snapped it over his shoulder for a goal, and a badly needed one for the Dons. Reduces the margin to 8, 7-7, 49. The Western Bulldogs 8-9, 57. 23 minutes gone, third term, thanks to Subway Eat Fresh.
How much would Collingwood like James Stewart at the moment? Father-son that they passed up, went to GWS, now back here at Essendon, playing some fantastic footy. You know, getting it done at ground level with the tackles, as Bucky mentioned, but that aerial contest to mark the ball and then drive it back in long. Fantastic from James Stewart.
Well, do we know why Collingwood passed on James Stewart? What was the reason that they gave?
No, I'm not sure.
Does seem an odd decision, though. At 198 centimetre rangy forwards don't grow on trees.
Back in the middle, tapped down one by Bellchambers for the Bombers. Can they get back-to-back goals? Sock it off the ground by Merritt. That's a little bit better from him. Danaher will come out and meet it full-chested. Back to Merritt. Merritt swings a handle over the top to Parrish. Parrish squares up the goals, and he's burnt Stewart in the pocket, who is throwing his arms in the air like he's at a rock concert. Margin is 7. 8-9, 57. Essendon 7-8, 50. 23 and 3/4 minutes gone. Second quarter.
He fresh aired him. He'll be at the Epworth post-game. Stewart. Third-degree burns. So the kick chip in was a little back pocket sort of arrangement to Picken, who now goes to the opposite back pocket to Biggs, who plays on. Now they're outside defensive 50. That was a good kick onto the chest of the loping Jackson McRae. He'll want to get onto his left too. Does. Wheels and goes to the wing. Down there is Webb. Brownie's man working with Gleeson. He'll win the free. Webb held in the marking contest. Flicks it to Bale, though the hand pass was too hot. They've turned it over. Fantasia, the little men get involved to Collier. Now to Goddard. Usually a good kick. A long piercing ball. Hooker! He had the set over the top of the youngster Young. And this time it stuck. He missed a couple of opportunities early in the game. But this time the Thomas Williams Sharon stuck in the midst, and Hooker can go back from 25 out and kick the goal.
Poor Lewis Young, second time he's been used as a step ladder. Danaher in the first quarter and Big Hooker in his second.
He's been putting on plenty of posters.
So game 150 for the West Australian. He's kicked 32 goals this year and been a good foil for Danaher, and he's still only kicked 32 goals because the umpire is furiously slapping bosom to suggest just the minor score, and the margin is 6, 7-9, 51. Western Bulldogs 8-9, 57. Subway.
To himself, Williams, and then straight up the corridor he goes, but pulls the kick out towards the outer wing. That's a good, strong mark back with the flight taken by Hurley. Hurley then chips it to Parrish. Parrish will bang it long inside forward 50. What's he got? He hasn't got Hooker, because Roughhead judged it best across the front of the pack, took the mark, and then Hunter takes it by hand and then gives it by hand to Biggs, who's the leading possession winner on the ground, I believe, for Fags might have 10, Bucky.
Yeah, 18. He's had Zaharakis 15 for the Bombers.
Short. Bailey Dale, McRae back to Biggs again, who is seeing a lot of it, the former Swan, across the face of goal. Now they'll look to send it towards the outer side of the ground, and it's marked out there by Hunter. Hunter can give it off by hand to Cordy, does so just at the numerals at left half back, and then a short kick that's marked by the Vittori back on the wing.
So Libba has done a good job on Merritt. Will get onto his left, looked awkward, but it's effective. Leading up at the footy, centre half forward was Cloak. Cloak will want to go long ball inside 50. Not a great kick though. Oh, McKenna spoiled. McGrath should have left it for him. Wallace over the top now. The Bomber defenders. How will the umpire adjudicate? He will ball it up. 30 out from the Bulldogs goal. That was a poor option in the end from Cloak.
Tapped down by Cloak. Ball bobbling around. Daniel trying to snap it out of the pack. Kick was partially smothered. It spills for Merritt. Merritt towards half-back, and Goddard has taken the mark in front of Bailey Williams. Left half-back for the Bombers. Broadcast side. He chips one over the top for Fantasia. Haven't caught a lot of this afternoon. Sweeps a handball over the top to Merritt. Merritt chicks a little kick over. Gets it to Hooker. Hooker will give it back to a running Fantasia now. 70 from goal. Fantasia uses a little bit of toe and then delivers beautifully onto the chest of Danaher. They weave their way through traffic beautifully there, and it was mostly Fantasia, and Danaher's going back to have a shot on number 5.
Fags might have 10. Suddenly Merritt, Fantasia, and a couple of those other smaller guys, Collier, in the last 5 minutes, Brownie, for Fags might have 10, are just starting to find a little bit of energy. Yeah,
they've been fantastic, haven't they? They've just got the run of the green now, and Danaher going back for his 5th. A question I'll pose just on half-time, boys. Is Joe Watson actually in Essendon's best 22 anymore?
From 45 with the siren not too far away, he won't level the scores at half-time. He will make the margin 5 points, and we will barely get the kick in before we hear the end of this entertaining first half here at Etihad. Big crowd in, the best part of 50,000 as Suckling to himself bangs it long towards the broadcast wing. And that will send us to half-time. It's been entertaining and fun. 9 goals in the first quarter. And we've got ourselves another 6 in that second quarter. 15 to the break as the Dogs 8-9-57 lead Essendon 7-10-52. And we might pose that question on Twitter as well, get reaction of the fans. Is Joe Watson still in the Bombers' best 22? Lee Brown wants to know, and Lee Brown might have some thoughts on that when we come back to him for Goddings a little bit later in half-time. But when we do take a break, come back, we'll catch up with Heath Buck for Fags Mitre 10 and Total Tools. Of course, that Carrot Football is where you can find us on Twitter. Back shortly, it's the Bombers trailing by 5 points on the Dogs on Live Breathe Carrot Footy.
For Warralilly Central, land now selling.
You're listening to the #1 call team. Made in Geelong and the Surf Coast, for Geelong and the Surf Coast.
The home of football in Geelong.
Live, breathe, K-Rock Football. You're listening to the #1 call team. Made in Geelong and the Surf Coast, for Geelong and the Surf Coast.
For Warralilly Central, land now selling.
Coming through his Bagley, ball spills back to Clyde. He'll want to go on his right. Oh! GMHBA goal of the day, Travis Cloak. Non-preferred right in traffic bang. It was about the only highlight of the first half for Travis Cloak, but it resulted in a goal, and his side leads by 5 points. They lead by 5 points, the Dogs, at quarter time, and they lead by that margin again at the half. Danaher's kick 4 for the Bombers, and a couple of goals to Webb, Dixon and Johannesen for the Bulldogs. And to wrap it up, the opening 60 minutes on the Fags Mitre 10 stat sheet, Heath Buck.
Yeah, thanks, Benny. When you're leading by 5 points, you would suggest that the stats would be pretty even, and they are just that. Doggies have had 14 more touches. Their disposal efficiency is excellent. It's been running at 83% for most of the game. 75% to the Bombers isn't too bad. They've had 22 more marks, the Doggies, so they like to possess the ball. Most of those marks that they are up in are uncontested. They've had 2 more inside 50s. The Dogs, they've had a couple of more clearances, but it's dead even, Benny, out of the middle. The Doggies are on top early in that quarter, but Essendon are able to get their hands on the footy in the centre and create a couple of goals at the back end of that second term. Dogs have had 2 more contested possessions, but the Bombers have laid 4 more tackles. Only 36 tackles so far in the game, 20 to Essendon. And James Stewart has been excellent for the first half of the Bombers. He's laid 5 tackles. The Western Bulldogs have had 16. There's a number of players from the Doggies who have yet to lay a tackle on the Fags Mitre 10 stat sheet. The same for the Bombers. We'll get to a couple of quiet plays in a minute, but some of the individual stat winners in that first half. Biggs down back, 10 marks, 19 disposals for Shane Biggs. Hunter 14, as to Jackson McRae. Suckling kicked a long bomb from outside 50 in that second term. He's had 12 possession. Dalhouse 12, a little bit quieter in that second quarter, Luke Dalhouse, after a fine start. Williams has had 11, Dale 11, another player that went out of the game in that second quarter, only 1 disposal. Bontempelli 10 and 3 behinds. It could have been a lot better for Marcus Bontempelli. Murphy a little bit quieter in that second quarter, 10 disposals. Roughhead 9, Wallace 9. Callum Daniel quiet, Benny 2 marks, 8 disposals, 2 goals for Johannesen from limited opportunities, 7 disposals and 2 marks. McLean 7, very quiet Toby McLean after he had 6 disposals in the opening 10 minutes of the game. Cloak kicked a fantastic goal, 7 disposals and 3 marks, and 2 goals for Tory Dixon from 6 touches. Heppel's had 15 for the Bombers. Zaraka's 15 and a goal. A goal to Darcy Paris and 14 disposals. Hurley 14 and 5 marks. Danaher is the star though. He could be the difference. 4 goals, 2, 5 marks and 12 touches. Goddard 12 and 2 marks. 11 to Merritt. He's been very quiet. Did get his hands on it late. 2 marks. 10 disposals to Stewart's been good. 6 inside 50s and 5 tackles as well. Watson quiet, 3 marks, 10 disposals. McKenna 10 touches, 8 to Fantasia quiet. A couple of players that need to lift. Marty Gleeson is not having a great game. Webb's been pretty good for the Doggies. He kicked 2 goals. Gleeson's only had the 1. He actually hasn't had a kick so far, just 2 handballs. Kelly very quiet, no kicks, just the 3 handballs. Bell Chambers quiet, only 2 marks and 3 touches for the Bombers. And McDonald, Tip and Woody, they need more from him, just the 5 disposals for Fags Mitre 10. And for the Doggies, Picken just 5 touches. Easton Wood, where's he at the moment? 4 disposals. Picken quiet, 2 marks and 5 disposals after kicking 6 goals last week. Benny against the Gold Coast Suns. So a couple of players need to lift from both teams as we go into the second half, where the Western Bulldogs lead by 5 points. Essendon 17 at 52. The Doggies 8-9 57. Total tools, no injury concerns for either team at the moment, Benny. And we have posed a question on Twitter regarding, is Joe Watson in Essendon's best 22? We'll get to some of those after the break.
Surprised you can see that screen, Bucky, looking across there. You've got a couple of sandwiches, sausage rolls.
Oh, the sandwiches are good.
You've got the whole shebang over there. And
well, Louise doesn't feed me. She doesn't feed me anymore. So I
did laugh at the tweet you said to your wife when that hurricane said go and clean the spouts. Maybe an easier just to put some arsenic in your coffee, Bucky suggested, which was very good from you, Heath. But comprehensive first half wrap as always. On the other side of this break, we'll hear from Lee Browns in the Goddings special comments chair. We might get him to answer his own question he posed. Is Joe Watson, the former superstar of the Bombers, superstar of the competition, is he in Essendon's best 22? This is K-Rock, Live, Breathe Football.
In 2017, K-Rock 955 is
The home of football in Geelong.
Live, Breathe, K-Rock Football.
For Warralilly Central. Land now selling.
They've turned it over. Fantasia, the little wing get involved for Collier. Now to Goddard, usually a good kick. A long piercing ball. Hooker! He had the set over the top of the youngster Young.
Yeah, St Paul Lewis Young just been put on a poster a couple of times in the first half. A couple of big marks by Danaher and also Hooker. Before we get to Lee Brown for our good friends at Goddings, Kubota's Platinum Excavator dealer. Local football for JB Scott. Bannockburn 3 straight 18 lead Belmont Lions 2-1-13 in the Sunday clash out at Victoria Park. Bannockburn, of course, Peter Riccardi joined us last Friday night on K-Rock Football ahead of Geelong and Adelaide. And he always gets brought up when Geelong and Carlton play each other at Etihad Stadium. Lee Brown has got the peepers parked very closely out on the ground, and the big crowd that has assembled, and they won't be disappointed with what they've seen so far, Brownie, from both sides.
No, it's been a quick game, high quality. Both teams have had surges of momentum throughout, and Essendon started really well in the first quarter, and Western Bulldogs finished off that quarter well, and it was the reverse in the second where the Bulldogs started well and Essendon finished off and had momentum going into half-time. So a quick game, a nice little shootout I think we got on our hands here, and both teams have played some good, brilliant parts of the game, but Joe Danaher, probably the most exciting player on the field at the moment with his 4 goals, and he's been in fantastic form, catching anything that comes in Essendon's forward 50, and he's certainly straightened up his goal kicking this year and having a real influence on the scoreboard. But around the clearances, as Bucky would have went through, those Western Bulldogs centre clearances were quite high in that second quarter, and they set up their game from there. But the more they can keep the game on the run, those low hit-ups going inside forward 50 rather than the long high balls, which is probably what Essendon want down the other end, the better off they'll be for the Bulldogs.
Brownie, can you ask that question you posed? Jobe Watson, is he in the best 22? And if your answer is no, what do you do with somebody like Jobe Watson, who's given how much service and what a great character and personality he's been for the footy club for such a long period of time?
Yeah, it's a tough one because he's a genuine champion, isn't he? He's been a very good player for a long period of time. I think Father Time might be catching Joe, but if he's in their best 22, he's probably hanging in there at the moment. But I think come the end of the year,
what's changed? Why do you think?
Speed. I think particularly against quick teams, they left him out against St Kilda, who are a fast ball movement side, and he's been shown up again today at times. When the Western Bulldogs go quick, he just can't defend and get in the positions as quick as he used to. It might be only half a step or a step, but as Father Time starts to catch you, it becomes more evident.
Just off the K-Rock Twitter, I gather these are a couple of Bombers supporters. Adrian Johnson says, turn it up, was best behind hooker last week. Taz Tudor says, absolutely, he's been fierce at the ball today. Rewards will come. Cats Fan 20 says, I think the game has gone past Joe Watson, so my answer is no. He just looks very slow and reactive. George Templeton, Joe Watson might be in their best 22 now. I'm not sure if he is, if they want to make or win a final next season.
Yeah, I think that's the point we're getting at. He's probably in his final season.
Yeah, he does. I don't think he plays on.
No, I don't think so. It's just got a bit too quick, and he's still going to have his good games, and he had a good one last week. I understand that, and every player's going to have their good game, and I just don't think if Essendon get to where they potentially can get to over the next few years that he's going to be a part of that.
No, which for what he's been through, he's probably the one that you go, for what the club's had to endure, if they do have some success in the next few years, majority of those guys are going to be part of it. It's probably him and Stanton are the ones that probably are done. And you sort of go, that's disappointing that he couldn't be a part of that.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be shattering for him, and he's been through a lot, and he's actually carried a hell of a lot of that load, hasn't he, through that period of time. And the 12 months looks like it probably freshened a couple up. Like Hurley's come back and playing some really good footy. It's just certainly not the case for Watson. He's had his good patches and his good games. Yeah, we understand that, but he's certainly not the player he used to be.
Who goes on and wins this game? You pick the Bulldogs by 12 points coming in, and the margin at the moment is 5. Are you still happy with the Dogs?
Yeah, I'm still happy with them. I think history says that these games open up a fair bit in the second half, particularly the last quarter, and that'll suit the Western Bulldogs. Just think they've started to get a bit of confidence back. Some of those balls they're going through or going for through the corridor is back to what they were doing last year when they were playing their very best footy. It's not perfect. They make a lot of mistakes, but when it comes off, it's exciting, and that's what we're starting to see throughout the first half of this game. I think that'll continue in the second half.
Just to give you an idea of how important this game is, now, next week Essendon play Carlton, and balance of probability says Essendon win that, and the Dogs play Brisbane at the Gabba, and even though it's up in Brisbane, the Dogs are probably better than the Lions. But the following week, there's big games for both sides, and they're both here at Etihad. The Dogs have got the Giants on the Friday night, and the Bombers have got Adelaide. That makes this so crucial this afternoon for both sides.
Yeah, it does. They're massive games, aren't they? Adelaide and the Giants are in very good form, sitting up the top of the ladder there, and both teams travel okay. So, massive game, this one. You need to get the result, need to have a bit of momentum. Certainly you'd expect both teams to win next week, but in 2 weeks' time, that's a massive weekend of footy, which looms as probably the round that shapes the 8 or the bottom half of the 8 as we go forward into September.
Absolutely. Brandy, thorough from you as always for Goddings. Of course, Kubota's Platinum Excavator dealer. We're going to take another break, come back, and the second half won't be too far away as we get the Dogs and the Dons. And it's the Doggies leading by 5 points in the battle for the EJ Whitten Cup on Live Breathe Carrot Footy.